All right. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar presentation. We're very proud to take some time today to talk about Thrive, a program, a service for small businesses here in Fairfax County that is being delivered by our friends at the Fairfax County Department of Economic Initiatives. My name is Charles Kapoor, President and CEO of the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce, and today's session is being offered to you by Inkspire, the 501c3 subsidiary of the Greater Reston Chamber that provides mentoring and small business support for businesses in Fairfax County and has been in operation since the early 2000s. A little bit about Inkspire here as I transition our slides. As mentioned, our mission is to provide business education, support, and mentoring for startups and emerging businesses in Fairfax County. Thank you to the great sponsors who support our services throughout the year, our friends at Leidos, the Reston Community Center, the Economic Development Authority, and M&T Bank. The programs that Inkspire offers throughout the year, you can take a look at our three main buckets of service. Our business education series, many of you on the call are familiar with this. We've been doing this for years. Our chairman of the board of directors and chairman of Inkspire, Angela Inzarello, is here on the call today, has been producing the business education series. In 2024, these are going to be offered on a quarterly basis, featuring our chamber members who provide timely and immediately actionable strategies focused on a variety of core business operations. Our BizMaker mentoring program, more details to follow. It'll be a brand new program in 2024 to provide a structured mentoring program, a 90-day program for anyone who's interested in being able to get advisory services from local subject matter experts. And then lastly, our community collaborations like we have today. We're very proud of what we do to work with so many of our great county partners in being able to bring all of the great resources available to the small businesses that we serve throughout the year. Make sure that we have all of the tools and resources you need to really thrive. How's that for a segue?
Nice.
Fantastic. And with that said, again, I'd like to now turn over to the facilitators for our presentation. Let me introduce Rebecca Moudry, the Executive Director of the Department of Economic Initiatives. And Rebecca, I'll turn the floor over to you and then allow you to introduce the other members of your team.
Great. Thank you so much. Charles, thank you so much to you, to the Reston Chamber, and to Inkspire. Which this is an exciting opportunity because I think the program we're going to be talking about today, the Thrive Technical Assistance Program and Grant, is really an extension. I mean, you could really go from Inkspire and all those amazing programs straight into receiving the assistance and programs from Thrive. So I am joined today and by my colleague Jamie Gaucher, the Division Manager for Economic Innovation and Strategy, and also my colleague Wendy Lemieux is on the call, who is our Communications and Marketing Lead. I'm going to provide a quick introduction and overview of the program, and then I'm going to hand it over to Jamie. So Jamie, if we have those slides, if you could just pull those up. But briefly, we're excited about the opportunity to talk with you all today because the Thrive program is directly for small businesses in Fairfax County. We'll go through all of the ins and outs of eligibility and application. But what it does is it provides up to $10,000 in direct services in a couple of different areas. So if we go to the next slide here, we're going to be talking today a little bit about all the specifics for eligibility, application, and then ways that you can receive assistance for your application. And I think the next slide just goes a little bit about who we are. We are here to answer any questions or to assist you at any time. So keep these contacts on hand. And finally, the next slide is just the snapshot of this is what we're going to be going through today. But we really are excited that next week, January 16th, the Thrive application opens. It is going to be on a first come, first serve basis, but there's lots of opportunity to participate. And this gives really the overview of what we're excited that the program will offer. It's $10,000 in that direct assistance. So if any of you have been participating in Inkspire and you've received some of those great services and mentoring, you may have a lot of ideas about what your business needs next and how to get it to the next level. And the Thrive program can directly provide that. So these are services to do these things. And these, what you see here in the bullets are just a couple of the examples of the areas that Thrive will provide services in: marketing, finances, talent acquisition, business operations. So there you see at the bottom the link to where the application will be, where you can access the Thrive application starting January 16th. But that website, fairfaxcounty.gov, Economic Initiatives, Thrive Business, provides all the information that you're going to need in terms of how to submit the application, where to submit it, and eligibility. So don't feel like you need to remember every single thing that we go through today. It's all there. We are here to help you. But we are excited to have the opportunity to talk with you today, present this, go through, I think, briefly the program, and then have a discussion and answer any questions. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jamie. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rebecca. And so we're very aware here at DEI that the negative effects of the COVID-19 pandemic were not spread equally across the county's economy. The negative impacts were not shared equally. Some sectors of the economy were more negatively impacted than others, and then specifically some types of businesses and specific types of entrepreneurs have struggled more than others and are still in the process of recovering. So this program, as Rebecca stated, is really about technical assistance. And from our perspective, we want to be as inclusive as possible from a product offering perspective, as well as inclusive as possible from a participant perspective. So those are two themes that I'm going to talk about for the next 15 minutes or so. I also upfront want to recognize the Latino Economic Development Center, based in Washington, D.C., but they have offices in Northern Virginia. They have offices in Puerto Rico, I believe. They have offices in Baltimore. They are our administrators. And as Rebecca mentioned, that website on the previous slide will take you to all the information you need to know about the program. We are adopting sort of a belt and suspenders approach here. We also have all the information that you can imagine about the program available on the LEDC website as well. So what is Thrive? Again, we realize that the county's small business community and the entrepreneurs across the county have been negatively affected and continue to recover, I will say, from the negative aspects associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. So Thrive is a technical assistance program where qualified small businesses, entrepreneurs, even sole proprietors will receive technical assistance grants valued at up to $10,000. We're trying to help small businesses, again, across as many sectors as possible, and with as many different service offerings as possible to build capacity, which is important, especially moving forward post-pandemic. We're also very interested in sort of creating or engineering a program that is tailored so individual businesses can meet their individual goals. This is really another prominent piece of the Thrive program. We want to help businesses address shifts that are connected to the COVID-19 pandemic, the world is not the same as it was maybe 3 years ago. And so not only recovering from those negative effects, but looking forward, what changes or what sort of flexibility do individual businesses need to incorporate into who they are or what they do? We're trying to help them plan for that as well. And again, this is about one-on-one technical assistance from what we refer to as subject matter experts. So Angela and Inkspire, this seems to align off the top of my head very closely with some of the activities and some of the programming that Charles and the Chamber have initiated already.
Yeah,
We
very
have-
much so, Jamie. And it leads right into our 2024 initiative as well. So this is perfect.
That's exciting. And after this call, I welcome an opportunity to connect with you, Angela, sort of one-on-one and anybody else that's connected to this programming that you guys are developing. Moving forward, again, the subject matters of technical assistance, what we refer to as service areas, are broadly broken out into these three categories. The first one being marketing, second being operations, and the third, what we call financial planning. So what are some of the potential benefits? This is not an exclusive or, albeit list. This is representative of some of the potential benefits, right? We're trying to help small businesses and entrepreneurs do whatever they do in a more efficient or more effective way. And our experiences and much of the data that we've leaned on to develop this program suggests that improving and what we call an online presence or utilizing online marketing strategies is often a skill that can be improved for a number of small businesses. How do we help people realize the potential of e-commerce? How do we help them plan and budget for the future? How do we help businesses sort of address their cost structure? How do we help them become more streamlined and more efficient? We also have a category that's focused on helping entrepreneurs and small businesses sit down, analyze, and potentially negotiate favorable lease terms. We found that is often, obviously an imprecise science, but it's often a gap from a skill set of the owner of a small business or an individual entrepreneur. And then obviously, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about how difficult businesses have found it to find talent and retain employees. That is a theme that is across almost all sectors of the county's economy, but it's specifically painful for some of the county's small businesses. And so we've developed a set of service areas specifically focused on talent acquisition. So how will the Thrive program work? First of all, businesses will apply, and once you're determined eligible, and we'll go through some of the requirements around eligibility in a second, businesses will receive coaching services. They will be paired with a business coach, and that coach will sit down with the individual business and develop what I call sort of a game plan, right? They'll sit down, they'll prioritize sort of what the gaps are, and then connect each individual applicant in small business to a specific consultant, or what we refer to as technical assistance providers. So I think of those business coaches sort of as air traffic controllers, right? They are going to engage and they're going to steer the individual businesses along the best path given where the business is at this point in time, and given what their needs potentially are. And then the individual businesses will receive assistance from those subject matter experts in those specific areas. And again, we're talking about marketing, we're talking about operations, and we're talking about financial planning. And then specifically within those larger categories, here is a list of service areas for which the program has identified suite of service providers. So as background, we, along with LEDC, DEI, along with LEDC, initiated a set of RFPs to identify business coaches and to identify consultants in each one of these areas, whether it was marketing, operations, or what's referred to here as finance. It's really financial planning. And we had over 250 responses from people all across the country who were interested in being consultants and providing services to the county's small businesses. So it took us a minute to get through those 250 responses to the 4 RFPs. We were not expecting that generous a response, if you will, but it took us a minute, and now we've sort of boiled down those 250 responses to the RFPs to just over 50 consultants, and we have at least one for each one of the service areas that are listed here. From a process perspective, applicants will come to the portal and their eligibility will be determined, and then they will be asked to complete what we refer to as a business health assessment. It's a questionnaire that will take somewhere between 30 and 40 minutes. And it'll provide sort of a snapshot of where the business is at this point in time. That application will be reviewed, decisions will be made, and then awards to the individual businesses of specialized consulting services will be made. From an eligibility perspective, I think this slide does a good job of illustrating who the target audience is for this program. So obviously we need companies to have a principal place of business in Fairfax County, and we're focused on small businesses. And you know, that definition varies from time to time. I used to be part of an SBDC network, and I know the federal government uses different definitions to identify who is a small business. But for this program and for our local economy, we're talking about companies that have 49 or fewer employees. We're also interested in working with people who were in business in 2021. This is not for somebody that just started a business yesterday, because again, we're trying to address negative impacts associated with COVID-19. And from a additional eligibility, you have to be able to demonstrate that you were negatively impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic as a business. And these bars are relatively low. So we've got 2 ways that you don't have to qualify in both. You can either qualify because you experienced a 5% annual decrease in revenue, or you lost 1 out of 10 employees during that time. And again, to my point around being as inclusive as possible, we're interested in working with sole proprietors, C Corps, S Corps, LLCs, partnerships. And this is a departure for us. This is a change from some of the other programs that we've developed and administered here at DEI related to ARPA, or related to the COVID-19 pandemic. We want to be as inclusive as possible. So historically, we have not done a lot of work with sole proprietors around the country. If you are a sole proprietor and you want to participate in the Thrive program, the real barrier is your ability to demonstrate that 51% or more of your income comes from the business. We're trying to differentiate between people who are actually sole proprietors with businesses and people who are doing something on the side or are potentially less serious about their specific business operations. Before you apply, we think it's important to let people know that these are some of the required documents. And I'll talk a little bit about more of this in a minute, but we will need signed and dated tax returns. That's often a hurdle. It's not uncommon for a business owner. It takes them a minute to identify or find their signed and dated tax returns and or payroll rosters. So that's important as well. And I mentioned this before Charles actually started recording, but sort of from a belt and suspenders perspective, the website at the bottom of the slide will provide you with all of the same information that you will get from the Fairfax County DEI website. This is LEDC's version of that. And it's important to know that I think I stated earlier before the recording started, but I'll share with everybody. The application opens next week on January 16th. And we're going to keep the application open until the program reaches capacity or until April 30th. 2024 at the latest. And those are important dates. Again, signed and dated. Your W-9 needs to be signed and dated. Your 1040 and Schedule C need to be signed and dated. And another important aspect or takeaway here is documents that are submitted to support your eligibility as an applicant in the Thrive program need to be unredacted. And that's important. Sometimes we've received tax returns with redactions and it causes more problems than potentially solves. So that's an important takeaway. Once your application is submitted, you will receive an email confirming such, and then you will have access to sit down and complete your business health assessment. And the business health assessment goes into 4 different categories. It'll probably take, I think I said 30 to 45 minutes for each individual business to go through this. And it's really a tool to identify what are the most pressing challenges and or opportunities for your business at this point in time. This health assessment will sort of create the foundation for that initial conversation with the business coach, and it will help the business coach and will help the program most efficiently get the small business or entrepreneur on the right track to the most pressing areas of technical assistance. It's also important when businesses are completing their health assessment, we're asking them to be as transparent as possible. I think of this sort of as akin to going to the doctor's office and answering questions, that the doctor might ask you about your own personal health. There's no downside and there's no upside, I should say, in sharing information with the doctor that's not accurate. And the same thing here. We're asking people to be as transparent as possible. And it's also important to know that the business health assessment does not affect eligibility. Once you are deemed eligible, the business health assessment is really a tool to help us and to help the coaches move that business down the path in the best way possible. So if you need assistance with the application, if you need assistance or guidance, our friends at LEDC have created an opportunity where they have live chat available on their portal. They also are able to accept questions at the thrive@ledcmetro.org email address, and those are answered obviously by a person. And it, again, from a belt and suspenders perspective, you can go to ledcmetro.org/thrive grant for FAQs, additional information. All of that information is also available on our website here at Fairfax County DEI. So with that, that's a brief summary. I believe strongly that the most valuable part of any of these interactions or presentations are really around questions and answers. It's really the dialogue. So that concludes all the information that I have from this deck. And at this point in time, I'll turn it back to Charles or open it up to questions.
Fantastic. Well, Rebecca, Jamie, thank you so much. What a fantastic presentation. Great resources, great infrastructure, very straightforward, and for the value that these businesses are going to have the opportunity to receive, certainly worth the effort of going through that process and doing that diagnosis. I think that's fantastic. Yeah, definitely love to have anyone want to jump in with questions, thoughts, comments.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick. Jamie, thank you. Rebecca, Wendy, we really appreciate this information and definitely want to connect. I'll put my information in the chat so we can connect and talk a little bit more about it. A little bit of question, is it my understanding that this is the second cohort? Have you guys done this once before, or a little bit about the history? How many people were selected? Because I know you said there's a time frame or a max number. Can you give some of those details?
Yeah, so we did initiate an original cohort. Our max number from a budgetary perspective at this time is approximately 600 what we call small business beneficiaries, right? Applicants that we're going to be able to serve with up to $10,000. So we have plenty of runway. I'll share with you. Part of the reason why we have chosen to keep the second cohort or application window open until all the slots are filled. Again, that's the current budget, is to be able to address 600 we're unable to keep the program open indefinitely because this is related to ARPA dollars. So from that, without going into the weeds, we have to spend all the money before the end of the year. So we're going to close the program at April 30th. But we have I don't recall what the number is. It's approximately 100 in the queue right now, 100 small businesses across the county that are being evaluated, and their eligibility is being evaluated. And so we're expecting somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 moving forward.
Okay. And is there any intent as part of the program and the service providing? Is it all virtual, or are some of these organizations meeting with the?
No, it can be in person. Again, we're trying to tailor this to be as valuable as it can be across industries and across as many different types of businesses as there are. So no, the coaches or the consultants, I expect the majority of those interactions will be virtual, but we have allowed people, if circumstances dictate, there's no downside to being able to meet in person. So that is an option, and that determination will be made by the parties involved in deciding
If I could just
which
add
way
on.
to go.
Sorry, Jamie, if I could just add
No.
on to that. One of the things we were really excited about this program is that the coaches and consultants that came in through the RFP process, many of them were local, right? So for us, this really allowed like a double win where we're able to work with local or regional consultants and true experts in these areas. And so a lot of the services are, I think most of them, the large majority, we saw that coaches and consultants said, we're happy to meet in person. Sometimes, a quick phone call or like the intro, that sometimes is great for virtual, but a lot of the work may be one-on-one or in person. Like Jamie said, it's kind of up to the business. And it's up to the consultant how they want to work together, but that's going to be a great option.
Yeah, I mean, as we structure Inspire mentoring program for 2024, we were evaluating the in-person, the leveraging of the providers' time, we'll call them the mentors' time, and the best way to provide those services. So that's why I was just curious what success you've had and how that was structured. Because if you said you had roughly 50 providers, Jamie, and 100 or so applicant or winners, just trying to understand how many to each.
Yeah, and again, that our timeline is between now and the end of the year. So we have one of the blind spots for us, very honestly, Angela. We don't know how much of an appetite or how much demand each one of those 18 service areas is going to have, right? And so we're trying to make sure we cover all our bases. We have at least one consultant, obviously, for each area. And some of those areas, we have a corral, we have a strong bench, if you will.
Yeah.
We have a collection of people because we suspect there's going to be greater demand.
So, question I would have, Jamie, just thinking as the Greater Western Chamber, certainly the work presentation that we provided here today is going to be appealing to a lot of our small business members who are going to want to participate as applicants. But just out of curiosity, is there still an opportunity if we've got members who are interested in partnering with this program as consultants? Is there still a need or capacity to take on more consultants to add to your depth? And if so, what does that process look like for folks who are interested?
Yeah, that's a great question, Charles. Not at this time. Again, we received over 250 responses to RFPs for consultants. So we've boiled that down to approximately 50. It's a little more than 50. And we feel at this point in time like we're prepared. But that might change. But right now, today, we're not accepting applications for additional consultants.
In
And I think there's a
addition,
link
this
on.
this is, I think we mentioned, we're using federal ARPA dollars for this, a really exciting opportunity that these federal dollars are available to lift up this, for us, a unique opportunity, a unique program. And there are very serious procurement requirements and rules for all procurements, and including using federal dollars. So it is pretty prescriptive at that point. Sorry, Angela, I interrupted.
No, I wanted to say that there is on the Thrive, one of the web pages does indicate that is a close. So as that obviously changes, Jamie, I'm sure that will be updated. I believe Colin at KME is one of your digital marketing providers. And he's also serves on our board. Colin, I know you're there on our Inspire board as well as GRCC board. So.
Yep, I'm here. We're super excited to participate in the program.
Excellent. Thank you, Colin. Nice to meet you. Any changes or any sort of alterations to the path of this program? We're very fortunate at DEI that we have an in-house marketing and communications person, and that's Wendy. She's on the call here, and she's fantastic around getting the word out and keeping everybody up to date. So yeah, if that happens, you'll be one of the first to know.
That's great. That's great.
Good morning, Rebecca. Jamie, nice to meet you. This is Bill Berg. I manage the Business Banking Center for M&T in Reston. I'm also on the board of Inspire with Angela and Colin. But I appreciate you coming on and give us this data. One of the questions that I think Angela asked, is this the first year or second year? How many years have you done this?
This is the first year. It's a program that's connected to a series of initiatives from our office trying to help businesses recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. But specifically, this is the first iteration and potentially last iteration of the Thrive program because we're using federal ARPA dollars.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Thanks.
And I will say that over the years of getting to know and work with the team, at the DEI, you know, to the extent that there's a lifespan, a defined lifespan on Thrive, what's really exciting is the variety of programs that Rebecca's department provides. And for those of you that have enjoyed today's workshop, as we continue on through 2024, I'm really excited about the opportunity to continue to highlight additional programs. Definitely would encourage everyone to go to the website, not just explore the details about Thrive, but some of the other current programs that they offer. Some of them, you know, have just concluded a round. Future rounds will get restarted, but fantastic resources for our county small businesses. And yeah, we'll continue to collaborate and promote those things as new programs get back online and new rounds of applications for different themed resources and programs come up. Yeah, looking forward to that for sure.
Thank you for that, Charles. Yeah, appreciate that.
Excellent. Well, any additional questions? Well, fantastic. Well, in that case, we'll give a little bit of everyone's Thursday morning back to them. Thank you all so much for joining us here. I would say that those of you that are in a role where you're working with small business clients who would benefit from this program, please take the information that you've gathered today back to your clients and share that with them. We will make this recording available on our YouTube channel for on-demand viewing, so you can direct anyone who wants to hear this presentation that wasn't able to join us this morning to our YouTube for that information. Yeah, we'll follow up with any additional information that you need. You know how to get a hold of us here at the Chamber. Certainly feel free to reach out to Jamie, Rebecca, Wendy for any information you'd like to have about the DEI. And yeah, continuing to keep abreast of what we're doing at Inkspire as we continue to support our local small businesses through our programs and through these great community collaborations. Again, Jamie, Rebecca, Wendy, thank you so much for setting this up and for providing today's workshop. Thank you so much for the great collaboration with our chamber, and just continue to look to the next event that we can do down the road.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Nice to meet you guys. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.